How do we record regular videos on it? I have a Sony A6000. You can still shoot regular videos at 24 or 60 frames per second. You don't necessarily have to slow the footage down if you're shooting at 60 frames. However, if you're wanting full control of what you're shooting, shoot in manual mode. This is my Sony A6000. Turn the camera on and go to menu. Make sure you're on this icon. Go to the second tab. Press on recording settings. And again, you can shoot at 60p or 24p. It's really your choice. Make sure you're in manual mode. If you are shooting at 24, this needs to be 1/50. So you're going to go ahead and just bring it back down. Boom, 1/50. Your f-stop determines, the sharpness or the bokeh you want within the actual footage. And of course, depending on the scene, you'll have to compensate with your ISO as far as like lighting. Again, I personally shoot at 60 frames per second. So my shutter speed has to be at 1/20 or 1/25 on the Sony A6000. So it's going to be 1/25. And I usually keep my f-stop between 3.5 or sometimes I move it up to 4 depending on what I'm shooting and how much sharpness I want. And my ISO, I usually keep it around 250 or maybe 400 because I shoot a lot of barber content for clients. And I always tend to slow my footage down. Now, when editing, you could always change your frame rate to 24 frames and export it at 24 frames per second, even though you shot it at 60 frames. However, I tend to keep mine all at 60 frames per second. Again, it's just my preference. I personally think the footage looks better. I personally never been a fan of 24 FPS. I've never had my clients complain about it. And it doesn't matter if you're shooting at 24 or 60, get you a good quality lens. It doesn't have to be a G series, but it could be a standard prime lens. This is a nifty 50 f1.8. And I shoot everything with this lens. And I'm not saying zoom lenses are not bad. They're actually great too. I just prefer having that lower f-stop to give me that extra light if needed. However, you can still get some amazing footage with a zoom lens. For example, I have a 16 to 50 zoom lens. However, the f-stop is at a 3.5 to 5.6. But you can still get amazing quality work if you have good lighting as well. For example, this scene right here I actually shot with my zoom lens. And you could always get some really good shots with a zoom lens. But again, you have to shoot in manual mode. You have to get accustomed shooting in manual mode. And it gets easier over time, I promise.